Move to the podcast. All right. All right, Aiden, what you got? You got the video? Am I on? It's about right here. Let's see something. You got the video? You see it? There we go. All right, you see me? Good evening and welcome to the podcast of Epic Ways. I am your host, Michael, and we are back again. We are back again with a conversation that needs to be had. And the conversation today is going to be co-parenting without peace. Co-parenting without peace. And today I have two new guests, one returning. To the left of me, I have Miss Kelly. And to the right of me, I have Miss Nicole. And to my far right, I have Miss Raven. So welcome everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. So we're going to talk about that discussion of co-parenting. And so how co-parenting affects each and every one of us and our own elements. So we're going to first start off with what is co-parenting? So that's the first thing. But before we go there, we do have a poll that we need to discuss. So last week we sent out a poll, and the question was, what triggers you most in a situation as far as conflict with the other person who's co-parenting with you? What are the triggers mostly? So the questions were, or the actual answers were, last minute schedule changes, money, new relationships, or the communication style. And based off of the last poll results, 80% said that the communication style was the reason of most of the conflict or arguments with the co-parenting. So we're going to first talk about that result, and then the following, or the second one, was new relationship, followed by money, and then the last one was the last minute schedule changes. So I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to ask each and every one of you, I'm sorry, I can't talk today, what your answer was relating to what is a trigger in conflict when it's dealing with co-parenting. So we're going to first go to Miss Nicole. Miss Nicole, tell me, what would be your answer relating to what is a trigger in conflict when it comes to co-parenting for you?
I would definitely say it's a communication style. A lot of times we, as adults, we just don't know how to tell other people our triggers. Even people we've been in relationships with, it's hard to break that down to someone else to say, I don't like it when you kneel. I don't like it when you curse. I don't like it when it takes 10 seconds to respond to my text. That triggers me. I want you to respond within 5. I want you to respond within 3. And you might not always get compliance, but a lot of times it always boils down to effective communication, explaining to other people how you feel, how you want to be treated, how you would like to be talked to. And of course, if you reciprocate that, then you should have a good relationship. But a lot of times we're bitter and it's hard to get that communication.
I think you're about right on that one. So we're going to go next to Miss Kelly. As far as a trigger for you relating to conflict and disagreements with the co-parenting, what would you say your answer would have been? Communication? Okay, so.
When she said, well, everything she said, like, I want to be her, basically. I want to know that when I'm instilling in my kids at home, it's the same thing. You're instilling in my kids when they with you.
Right.
I don't want to tell them one thing when they're at home and then they go to your house and then you tell them, no, it's okay to do it, so it ain't. And I'm not saying, okay, it's okay to do it at home and then it's not okay to do it at daddy house. I want us to be on the same page. I want us to be on the same floor. Even if you feel like it's not okay at your house, let's talk about it. Let's come have a common ground. And figure out why it's not okay. Or, compromise. Compromise is my biggest thing. I just want to be on the same page. That's it.
I totally agree. Communication was, always my trigger. the way things were communicated. And let me say this, my younger parent, in my younger parenting years,
Okay.
in my 20s, because I had both my kids in my 20s. So in my 20s, early 30s, the communication was horrible for me and my daughter's father. Now, and my daughter and I have two kids, son and daughter, and they both have different fathers. So my son's father passed when he was 7 years old. So me and his communication was perfect. You know, it was perfect. Like, I can do this, but I can't do this. I can, keep on this day. I can't keep on this day. When you go to night school, I can keep on this day. I can't keep on that. It was perfect. But he passed. So, that wasn't an issue for us. We co-parented well. It just flowed. But, the other situation was not good at all in my 20s and 30s. So the communication was just off. But what I had to realize, it was root cause. And so when you're younger or when you're just not mature enough to communicate with the physical side and focus on the main thing, which is the kid, that communication is going to be off.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think currently right now, it's never been the new relationships for me as far as on my side. But I think that what bothers me the most relating to my co-parenting situation is I have two. It's going to have to be both the communication style and the last minute schedule changes. I think that because we communicate through text messaging. And so, of course, when you got emotions, how things went and how things played, you can always read it the wrong way than versus what the other may be saying. However, I think it comes off sometimes in a form or a sense of entitlement, or because I actually have her, you got to, you under my leash. So that's what the tone always comes at relating for me and the last minute schedule change. Oh, hey, such and such, we got to do this week, and you're telling me on Tuesday, and I'm supposed to be picking her up on Friday. So to me, it's like, okay, you don't show enough even concern or respect for me and my time to even communicate these type of changes previously, because it's never like a situation. Now, if it's emergency, that's totally different.
Okay.
But things that have been planned out, a birthday party, or say a softball practice, you've known about the practice before this week.
Right.
So the communication to me should have been at the time when you heard the schedule change or got the update, because we both have the same rotation every other weekend.
Okay.
So, if you planning something, you should be like, okay, let me look at my calendar. This is my weekend or it's not my weekend. If it's not, let me reach out to the other parent and say, hey, can we make a change? Versus feeling like, okay, this is what it is, you need to do it. So that's my biggest thing on that. So yeah, this is good. It's going good. Ask this question. How does peace look like to you in a relationship relating to co-parenting? What is a peaceful situation to you?
Well, I'll start by saying I heard everything you and Miss Kelly said. Heard it all. The issue, there's one problem.
Okay.
We can't change people. We're never going to be able to change people. You perceive they should tell you the schedule change. You perceive the kids should be handled at their house a certain way. However, these are other people. They're not dogs. Because if they were dogs, we could train them and then we could say, okay, I taught you to do blase. But they are people. And we can't change them. We have to accept them for what and who they are. And a lot of times that's hard because people change after we're in a relationship with them. Because we talked about this in another episode. They show us exactly who they want us to be when we're in a relationship with. They're sweet, they're loving. Oh my God, we're gonna have a baby. This ain't working out. I need somebody to keep the baby. Where your mama? Where your dad? I'm busy. All kinds of things come up. However, these people know our triggers. They know what aggravates us, what bothers us, and they will do little itty bitty things. They will leave breadcrumbs just to aggravate you. Right. So when you say, I don't let them eat chips after 10 o'clock, and then the kids call you at midnight, and you're like, what are you eating? They have popcorn. And you're like, what? Like, didn't I say y'all don't like them eat that late? They at my house. It's my house. but we want a sense of control, but we're never going to get that. We're never going to get that from people that we cannot control because they're humans and we just have to accept them for who they are and what they bring to the table. This bothers me. I communicated that when the schedule changes, you tell me on Thursday, you've known since Tuesday. Is it an issue? It takes 3 seconds for you to be like, schedule change, talk about it at 5. I'm not going to forget at 5 o'clock that you need to call me. 6 o'clock roll around, I'm going to be like, hey, what's up with this schedule change? I need to know because I have a life also.
Yeah.
But I'm going to explain that to you. And if you're not adult enough, grown enough to say, you know what, that's my bad. The schedule didn't change and I should have told you, we got a problem.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate with you. So, and I received all of that. So when the attempt is, okay, let me reread what I'm writing because I don't want to start this conversation or argument. So let me backpack, you know, and then I do that and I consider all in the situation. I place people into the conversation so that it should be, or rather it should be a sense of respect in that level. And it still backfires. Or, you know, I try to communicate those things, but it doesn't happen. So of course, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to control anyone or anyone's actions. I'm just trying to control the situation from going in a negative environment. So when those factors and parameters have been placed and it still doesn't work, what do you suggest to do?
You're going to be the same person. So nothing has changed about you. I'm delivering me every time I come. Still dad, still whatever you want to call me. If you want to call me baby dad, whatever, I'm still here and I'm delivering the same. I'm a straight line. I'm not here, I'm not there this week. This week you don't know what your dad is going to do. No, I am the same dad showing up every other weekend, looking for my scheduled time for you to meet me, whatever that looks like. You are not doing your part. What have I done different? I've done it. I'm right here. But you have to stop shrinking yourself to fit in those situations. Because as long as you shrink yourself, I got you right where I want you. It's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. Watch me make a man. Watch. And I'm gonna send whatever I'm gonna send, and I'm sitting back and I'm waiting for you to respond. She's not gonna be able to come today. It's 5:30. Supposed to meet you at 6. Oh, they at 18. What do you mean she's not gonna be able to come? I'm ready. I canceled my plans. I have a free weekend, and you're like, she's not gonna be able to come. And you know what does that look like for me? I'm not gonna shrink myself. No, this is my weekend, and I don't know what you need to do to make that happen, but we're gonna meet.
So what does when you said shrinking yourself, what does that?
We walk on eggshells for people because we know how they're gonna act. I don't want to make her mad. I want to back this text up so I don't send it I don't want to sound harsh. No, because they don't care how they communicate to you.
That is correct.
They don't. They're going to send whatever they're going to send. They're going to back out whatever plans they're going to back out because, oh, well, no. Hey, this is what the agreement says. This is what time I need you to be there. Do you have a problem with being there? Do I need to be a little late? I'm trying to accommodate you, but I'm not going to shrink down to, I can't get it. Okay. All right. Maybe next weekend. Oh, it's a party. Okay. So you need to take my Saturday. You need to take my Sunday. Even, you know, in a situation where you want to know those values that they have, you explain those values instead of explain them. Like, this is what I'm trying to do in my house. This is what I'm trying to instill in the kids so they can become better men, better women. What do you think? And they have to, hey, this is what I need to be done because I don't need the school calling me. I don't need that. You know, we need to be raising honest kids. And they're going to have to either comply or they're going to say, oh, you know what? You tried to talk to me. Yeah, I did.
I'm going to go a little bit further. Okay. So and I receive it all. Even in those situations when you know that because of the time that you have allotted is less than the other, you have what the common denominator is, which is a child or children. So the main goal that you're trying to do is continue to be the better person, but also make sure that your image and your reputation and your connection with your child is still solid. But when you have the ones that are in control in that space continuing to push and push and push and push, what do you say to those parents and what do you suggest that those parents do?
I heard everything you said, but one word stuck out.
Okay.
the ones that are in control. Who said they were in control? Who gave them the control? Because you gave it to them. You gave them the control by saying they're in control. She's going to see your daughter, your son, children, they're going to see you for who you are by being solid. I stayed solid 10 years straight. I never vouched off that. You called me, I came. Awards, I was there. School, first day, whatever, I was there.
That's it.
It was issues on the other side, but you didn't hear me bring that up. But, you know, if you called me, wasn't I there? Yes, you were there.
Right.
If you needed someone out there, yeah, you were there. But if you here, there, all over the place, and the other side is the same way, nobody's in control. It's like a bouncing ball. It's all over. Every time the ball get away, we gotta go get it, bring it back to the court. No, you gave them the control by saying, well, they are the one who did with that. No, I do what I'm supposed to do. This is my weekend. No, I cannot split the weekend. No, I cannot change the weekend. This is what it is. I've made plans. You need to be there. And I'm stern. I'm strict on what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's it. Because I'm not gonna shrink down and say she can't come. Oh man, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that.
No,
Can I?
two steps. Yes, ma'am. Go.
I think that is the feeling of the parent that doesn't spend the most time, well, don't have the child all the time. The child doesn't live with them, you
Right.
know, most of the time. That's just the feeling that that parent has. But trust and believe, you know, not from my personal experience, but I have talked to other single parents and they have to co-parent. That child knows just because that father or the mother, whoever, you know, the child to go to spend weekends with, because they were consistent and, you know, they were loved, they were nurtured, you know, they were provided for. Those kids grew up knowing, okay, I was loved by both parents. They felt no type of way. It's just the parent who's on the other end that the child is not lived with. That is not like a feeling for them, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just a natural human instinct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate all that.
Mhm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the next question, going to communication and when emotions are high.
Okay.
So when that trigger has been clicked, we've already discussed what our triggers are.
Yeah.
How do we normally communicate and how should we be communicating? I'll leave that to the counselor as far as how we should be communicating, but normally being honest on the table, which because first I want to make sure that we are liking, subscribing, and following to the podcast of Epic Ways, but also mentioning that this is not a bashing situation of
no.
any parent.
No.
This is us expressing how we have experienced co-parenting as well as being a parent in today's society. So, going forward, how do we normally communicate when our emotions are high? So, I will go first.
Okay.
I have been caught in responding back and forth.
Okay.
However, I still try to tailor it to the point
Mm-hmm.
where that if things happen to go to a judge,
Mm-hmm.
that the communication is still business professional. Because again, even in those situations, like you say, well, no, this is my weekend. I'm going to choose not to take her to said party.
Mm-hmm.
I still get the flack of, oh, you're this bad person
Mm-hmm.
because you're not changing your schedules to something that I want her to do on your weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I try, what I do normally in those situations is I write, delete, then I finally just write something small. It's never, because I try not to go do the going back and forth,
Right.
but I notice that there are reasons why the back and forth does happen when certain people are in the group chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you guys read between that line.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to Miss Kelly.
Yeah.
As far as when triggers are already initiated and say that it's not in a good space, how do you normally communicate with said parent? Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you know how they say choose your battle.
Right?
Like, well, when they say choose your heart.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a lot of times I don't like, you know, when my peace be disturbed.
Okay.
And when my peace is disturbed, my kids' peace be disturbed.
Wow.
Sometimes it's hard for me to, you know, step that out.
Okay.
So if I need to go to a parent for anything, and I'm already knowing in my head, like, I can't, and I'm knowing I can't depend on the parent for whatever it is I'm going to. I will retreat. I will just check it up as the part I'm gonna choose is I do it myself instead of going to them and picking up dust, starting an argument, or if not an argument, being told whatever I'm gonna be told, which is probably something I don't want to hear, and I'm gonna have to go back to do it myself. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go through that anyway, and then end up having to do it myself. Like, so a lot of times I don't even. I'm gonna do it myself. That's just what it is for me.
Okay. So basically, you take the approach of I'm probably going to end up having to do it myself, so I don't even bother. Or basically, okay. So, Miss, I'll come back to you because we're going to get everyone. Miss Nicole.
I would say we have to do a better job at protecting our mental health,
Okay.
our boundaries. We're taught love is it's a taught language, taught action. A lot of times we grew up where we were not taught what that is, right? Because we learn how to love by seeing our uncles, seeing our aunts, seeing our grandparents, our parents, love each other, our friends' parents. We're going to talk to each other. And a lot of times we don't say, hey, you know what? That is not the way I want to talk to you. I will call you back tonight. I will call you back tomorrow when I am in a better space. Keep it on you. Don't, because if you say you, the moment you point your finger, they feel attacked. So you're going to have to say, using those I statements, you know what, I am not in a good space right now. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me call you back tomorrow. Let me call you back Tuesday when I'm in a better space. You need 2 days? I might call back before then, but I don't know. Because when we respond right then and there, our emotions are hot. I'm ready to call you everything. I'm ready to say everything. My fingers are happy. My phone is ready. I'm yelling in the phone. And guess who's right there looking at all this?
Right.
And even if the kids aren't there, the kids are over at the other house, guess what? They got on speakerphone. They're letting them hear you. And the kids will look like, Daddy, talk like that. So we just have to do a better job at saying, now is not the time. And a lot of times what I tell my clients, especially my male clients, because they're like, I know she's just be saying, she's getting on my nerve, I can't believe. Send a thumbs up. Yeah. Acknowledging. Because I am big on people not acknowledging what I say. So I'm looking like it takes 5 seconds to respond. Give a thumbs up. I acknowledge you. I heard what you said. The minute they say, well, you agreed. No, I didn't. I sent the thumbs up to let you know that I've seen the text and that I was going to come back to it. And now I'm coming back to it. It's been a whole day. I understand it. But I wasn't in the space where I could respond. Now I am. Are you ready to have that conversation?
So a red receipt can't work?
No. No. Because the moment they're going to say, you read it at 6:34 and you didn't respond, it only aggravates them.
Okay.
I sent you a thumbs up. And that's it.
A thumbs up is worse than a red.
I acknowledge that you got it. And even if you break it down, I am not in a good space to respond right now. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me think on that. Okay. You can only say okay, or what are you going to say? No, that you're not respecting me at that point, and I honestly don't need you around if you can't respect that.
Wow. Miss Raven.
Wow. Me. So my kids are grown now. Okay. Yeah. My kids are grown. So our daughter's 25, so I do not have to communicate with her father at all.
Okay.
She's strictly communicating with him about everything. My son's father's deceased. So I'm gonna go back to when we were co-parenting before, she became an adult. And a trigger.
Okay. So what was the trigger?
I communicated that I was picking up the child support. And he wanted me to come at a certain time, right?
Okay.
At his place of business. And so I didn't come at that time. I came later in the day because I think I took the kids to leave or something that day. Now these my 30s. I'm in my 40s now. These my 30s.
Okay.
So because of our negative, unhealthy history of communicating, it was always just horrible. It always went left majority of the time. It was just unnecessary, but it was just that way. So, I'm angry because you're not doing your part. You're angry because I don't even know why you're angry. You were angry because I was angry because you weren't doing your part of the father. I feel like I was doing everything by myself other than, the child support. So neither here nor there. I arrived at this place of business to pick up the child support hours later. When I walk in, you say, I told you to come at this time. So I'm looking at the thing. I said, yeah, you did, but I took them to the movie. And now we're here, and you still here, and well, my child support, because, it is what it is. And it escalated. It
Okay.
escalated. Argument, you called me out of my name, you hit me. Yeah, and I hit you back. And we got into like an altercation, and I went to jail. Yeah, yeah, went to jail. Had to stay in jail.
Was it because you were in his place of business? Or?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes, they said I was the aggressor. Yeah. So I say this to say they asked me for 3 days because they
Domestic violence,
yeah.
automatic 72
And I
hours.
had no proof. When I got there, I was like, okay, my family like that picked me up, and everybody back there was looking around, the sheriff was like, oh, sure, I did not. They was like, well, ma'am, situations like this, you gotta stay within the 2 hours. And I started counting like 24. What? So I say this to say that my 40-something-year-old self would have said, you know what? If you're not gonna give it to me, I'm just gonna leave because it's not that serious, But that aggression in me, you're gonna give me this because I deserve this. I'm doing everything by myself. You see what I'm saying? Like that history of just negative, unhealthy communication, it just led to that
So what?
unpeaceful situation.
So what was the end result?
So when I went to court, I was ordered to put him on child support. The judge said because you guys can't communicate, and he didn't want to keep you in an agreement, and you having to come to jail because you want to pick up child support. I'm going to mandate you to put him on child support, and that was the result.
So I'm glad you said that because I was going to get to that next question of as far as child support.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, it was mandated by the court to put him on child support.
At that point.
Okay, so your child support prior to was just an agreement with you two directly?
I just pick up money, here and there, whatever.
Okay, and so for you, during co-parenting, was there ever child support?
No. So I have 5 children.
Okay.
And they are 4 dads. I have twins.
Mm-hmm.
But I never received child support for any of them. I never put any of them up for child support. I just come from a place to feel like they are grown men, just like I was a grown woman. Although I was 16 and I had my daughter, I just feel like they should have understood, and for the most part they did. But we have children and they have to be taken care of. And I don't need to take off work to go and sit in anybody's court for them to tell you what you should be doing. Now, I probably could have went a different way if I had them. I probably lived a different lifestyle. But at the same time, I just didn't see a need for it, and I knew that I was still out there. But it is different when you are collecting child support and when you're not collecting it because they feel that they're not obligated, or we can give you whatever, and you are right there raising the kids, understanding what they need. And I've seen it go either way. I've seen some people pay $1,200 a month, 2 kids, like $600 per kid, and the mom is still calling asking for money, and they're paying it faithful, and they give her money, give it because they're like, well, she shouldn't have to take the child support to pay bills. And I'm sitting there saying, wow, I should have done it. But yeah.
Right. And Ms. Kelly, was child support ever initiated on your end, or how do you feel about child support?
If that's your thing, then that's your thing. But for me, I feel like she feel like, I wake up every day. I got 3 kids, 3 whole other lives that I gotta make sure brush their teeth, take a bath, eat, put their clothes on, make sure they got clothes to put on, roof over their head, the bed too late, and
Right.
food in their stomach. You know, I got 3 whole other lives that I gotta make sure everything that I do and make sure that they protected every day. Make sure that they got everything they need every day. You wake up in the morning, you got that same responsibility. You know, it's not because they live with me. That's just my responsibility. When you open your eyes in the morning, you know that you got that same responsibility. You have to tell you, your son or your daughter needs it. If you woke up this morning and your throat was dry, you needed water, you know, your son or your daughter need water. When you woke up this morning, you put your pants on, you know your son or your daughter need pants to put on also. You don't know if I got them pants to put on.
Right.
You just assume that I did it because you know that the shadow of a doubt, Kelly gonna do it, she gonna do it. But I feel like that's just been my journey, you know. It's just been she gonna do it, so I don't have to. Like my son, he'll be 15 this year. My daughter should be 13 this
Mhm.
year. And I got my youngest should be 9 this year. And I say in 15, a quarter of none of them. Like 2 partners, kids. In 15 years, I haven't seen down, penny, nothing, none of them. And it ain't to say, you know, they bad men. It ain't to say that, you know, they hadn't done nothing for them because they got grandparents. Well, the oldest two. But I also feel like she ain't their parents.
She's not responsible.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
correct.
saying? She got grandkids off. She done raised her kids. You know what I'm saying? She done what she was supposed to do. It ain't her responsibility. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. But I feel like that's not her responsibility anymore. I feel like at some point, what I've been doing is like at the beginning, I feel like we became parents at the same time, on the same day. I give you grace to a certain point. Because if I didn't have my stuff together, I couldn't expect that of you. But it come a time where after so long, come on,
Right.
like help me out. Like shouldn't have to ask you to do that.
Right.
Anything, really. Because you know they're here. You know they're here. When you wake up in the morning, you know you got kids. Like I don't understand why I would have to ask you for anything for them. Anything. You know when school starts. You know when Christmas rolls around. You know their birthdays. You know major holidays or whatever.
Right.
You know. Because I know.
Right.
So, why would I say anything? I shouldn't have to.
Right.
So I don't. You know. My grandma will reach out. Do the kids need this? Do the kids need that? Got, you know, the aunties might reach out. The uncle might reach out. And I appreciate that. But it's like, when is it going to be your time? 15, I mean, it's 3 years until you're an adult.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people are not just emotionally intelligent. Horrible. Rejection is hard.
Yeah.
If you said, I don't want this anymore, I'm upset, I'm hurt, and how can I fix you? By not doing it. I'm not going to do it because we are not together. Because I can imagine you either had children with somebody else, or if we were still together, you'd be taking care of said kids. But you don't do that because we're not together, because I rejected you. And the emotional intelligence part about that is being able to accept rejection.
Yes.
And a lot of times we just can't accept rejection because we don't like the way that feels. For a man's perspective, I am not going to come and sit down and say, I cannot believe you left me. I can't believe you don't want me. When my friends, my homies, my boys ask me, man, what happened to you on the call, man? Shoot, we're gone, man. Please, I got 2, 3 others. I'm in love with me.
Yeah.
And we'll say all kinds of things to try to make ourselves look good because we're not going to say, man, she left me.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. She doesn't want to be with me anymore. She took the kids and she left because that makes them vulnerable. And we're not going to do it. It's hard.
Well, I want to say that I respect your level of maturity
Yes.
and your level of go-getter,
Yeah.
Miss Kelly, because like you said, I mean, I get where you are as far as the space of I already know how it's gonna go, so I don't even want to go down that route. But for you to even have that mindset and still continue to push forward, I want to say I appreciate that, and I respect your maturity because there are some people who do not,
That's right.
Yeah.
who do not understand it and could take it a different way, but you choose to take it another way. And when it comes to you all and you saying, okay, I just chose not to do the child support. I mean, and then for you to have a mutual agreement, again, it goes back to the level of maturity that all three of you have and possess, because everyone does not have that. And some people are just not even given that opportunity to do that mutual agreement. Or, no, let me be a man and show you I can do it without you even having to ask.
Right.
So, yeah, I appreciate that. Going to the next question. Where is the line between co-parenting and controlling the other parent's world? Because like we said, we were talking about the control, or we can't control how a person responds, but how you can try to control the situation because, okay, she lives with me, so you can't just roll up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So where does the line
Children
draw?
are very smart. And a lot of times we don't give children the respect that they should be given. Children will play off of parents' emotions. They will play off of the relationship, but it's important for our children to see us being co-parenting a healthy relationship.
Yes.
If they do not see that, they play off of each other. My daddy said, my mama said, or I'm not. Can I go to dad's house just because I know I need to go do blah blah blah? And dad isn't paying attention to this, or if I get in trouble, dad's not going to tell mom because he doesn't like her.
Right.
We have to come to an understanding where if something happens, guess who we got? We ain't got nobody but each other and these kids. Right?
Correct.
When it boils down, if grandparents are gone, brothers and sisters are gone, aunts and uncles, it's just us and the kids. Even if we're not together anymore, mom is sick. Oh my gosh, let me come to the hospital. You can't be sitting there saying, "What? She had a stroke." I ain't gonna probably like, no, my kid is there. I gotta go. So you're gonna go, and it's important to have that relationship with whoever they're with. If they have a partner, to understand, I'm not trying to control your house. My main goal is my kids, my children. That's who I want. That's who I need to know is okay. I need to know who you're in a relationship with is going to treat my child okay. I want to make sure that they're a good person, and that's my main goal. I don't want to control anything, but we have to have this open communication, and it has to be effective. We can't be yelling at each other, calling each other names, or sending subliminal texts, or posting on Facebook. You better know I'm talking about him. We can't do that because once we do that, we are taking. Now it's not about the kid; it's about me and my emotions and how I feel. So if we don't do that, if we don't have that open communication, a good bond with the other parent, I can't believe I had kids by you, and that's it. Leave it there. It goes no further. But in the back of my mind, what was I thinking? But at the same time, the kid is here. We cannot change life. And how can we move forward as a family? Because we're still going to be a family, whether we like it or not. The kid is here. So it's hard when people don't want to accept that, or they want to, who you got over there, who you got around my kid, why you taking them to do such, why you let her wear that, make up this. You can't control that other house. You have to accept it.
Wow. So I want to go to the comments in the current online right now.
Okay.
So what I do have is from Ms. Lulu. She was just on last week's episode.
Okay.
She says, I think that the best co-parenting advice is to remove yourself and focus solely on the best interests of the kids.
Yeah.
She says that certainty means that at times one parent may not be satisfied with the outcome. And then for Miss Kelly, Miss Ethel Kelly said, I love you, niece. So we appreciate those comments. So as far as co-parenting and new relationships getting in, Has it ever affected any of your situations with the person you're co-parenting with when they get a new love interest?
I would care if my drug father, man, I would care.
But even
I
if
just
you,
wanted,
but have they
yeah.
their love interest
No, it
created any
never
type
did.
of
I
dynamic?
wanted whoever he was with to have a relationship with my daughter. Because I thought it may would help him, you know, it would help him as a parent. It would create a better relationship for him and my daughter. I wanted that. It never happened.
Okay.
That never happened. I would have loved that because I said because I'm the type of female I am. If I date a guy and we're serious and he bring his kids into my world, I treat those kids like my own. So I was like, okay, you get a woman like that, that's what's gonna happen, and then it's gonna be better for my daughter. That never happened. I would have loved that, but no, it never. I wanted that because I don't, you know, we're not together. You know, I want you to be happy and be loved and be well, so you can be well and love us to my, you know, my child.
Right.
So no, that was never an issue for me. I just don't be once I'm over, I'm done with the relationship I'm done with. I don't care what you do and move on. Just make sure they're nice to my child, respectful to my child, and non harmful to my child. That's all I'm concerned about.
Okay.
But I would have love, you know, for that to happen in the kid when no one will be up.
Miss Nicole?
Never had an issue with that. It never happened. Never had an issue with that.
I didn't have an issue with them moving on.
Yeah.
They had issues with me moving on,
Oh,
unfortunately.
yeah,
But,
unfortunately.
and it took one day. My aunt told me, she said they're still reading the same chapter of that book. And
Wow.
she said, if you never stop reading chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 1, chapter 2, how do you get to 3, 4, 5, 6, and totally to the end of the book? By moving on from those chapters. She was like, but you are in these chapters of their life and they keep rereading it. And she was like, until they stop reading it, it's gonna be an issue. And to this day, hey, it's still an issue. I mean, yeah. And they're like married and moved on and it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Miss Kelly?
I'm never kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. For me, I don't care, just
Right.
like you say, but I think that on the opposite end, you have cared. The love interest has cared to the point where, you know, like you can be a battery to be different versus had you not had that person. So, yeah, that's what I can say on there. As far as being different or choosing something different in those situations of the parents, would you have done anything different in your past relating
Oh,
to
definitely.
what would that be?
Well, first, I would have sat down and had more adult conversation
Okay, communication.
and talk things out versus assuming you know how to be a daddy,
Hmm.
you know how to be a father, you know how to communicate, you know how to stay on schedule, you know how to participate and attend things. I would have sat down and said, well, okay, maybe if and evaluate myself and not been hot-headed when things didn't go my way and not say, oh, you this, you that, whatever, because it just wasn't all him.
Mm-hmm.
We would have disagreements sometimes. I would say really mean things, like hurtful things that I had to ask for forgiveness for. Yeah, I was a booger bear now with my work.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a booger bear with my work. And I was like, and I used to cry about it sometimes, like, this is crazy. This horrible. Like, my daughter don't even have good example of co-parenting because we're been going back and forth with each other's necks for what? Because I didn't want to be in a relationship or anything with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was just angry with me about things from the past. And or whatever. And so the only positive relationship that she really saw was my family, my sister and my brother-in-law, which were her other parents, because they was helping me raise her because I was single. That was the only positive marriage that she saw, and they played a big role in the reason she does understand how a man's supposed to treat you. Like my brother-in-law really instilled that in her, like, you do this, you don't do that or whatever, but and she does have a good relationship with her father now.
Mm-hmm.
She does. They have a good relationship now, but it took for her to get to an adult, but neither here nor there. Yeah, I wish I would have just said, look, let's sit down and talk, stay calm, not act out and, act out, being negative. I never talked bad about him to her though.
Mm-hmm.
I can commend myself for that. I never spoke bad of him. I said I'll never do that. I wanted her to find out for herself the things that were going on. I made a promise to myself I'm gonna do that.
Do the kids ever find out? Like
Oh,
even in a situation of, okay, I'm gonna shed some light to make him be the bad guy when it was really not. Do they ever really find out?
I don't care if the parents manipulate the children
Mm-hmm.
to make them think something that is not. It's always gonna shit. Like she never really, like later on in life, she's because you gotta think about it at graduations, honor days, field days, birthdays. Everybody daddy, that's what my dad. And I would like to say, when I told when we come back to work, because I always told you, I always communicated every time this is going on. And not saying you didn't always just not show up. Some things you did come to very, very, very rare. Very rare. What you did. It was very rare. But you know, that bothered her because she started saying, why my dad don't want me? So now I'm really angry. Angry. Angry, 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 angry. Angry, angry. Because I never want her to feel that way. Because I know girls need their father.
Mm-hmm.
Girls need their father. Because I needed my father. My father died when I was 6. So, and I've experienced a lot of things because I have my father present. A lot of trauma, a lot of things I did not want her to experience. That I didn't want her to feel unwanted. You know, but neither here nor there. That's why I wish I would have been more mature when it came to me communicating with her father about things. You know, because she went through some stuff.
I appreciate it.
I just think it's important to sit down and get to know people. People, like I said, are always going to be who you want them to be, and I wish I could have done that. I do believe in the family system now that I'm older and now in my profession. It took me to get in my profession to say, oh my gosh, like it hit me in the face to see that. But at the same time, I wish I love my children, grateful for them. They made me the woman that I am today. However, if I could have took anything all back, I would have sat down and actually got to know that person. Actually, even if we had got married, I would have knew that I didn't want to be in a marriage. I didn't want to have kids by that person. So I would have still backed it all up. But at the same time, I'm grateful for the way things played out, and I just wish that we would get to know people before we have children, because
Amen.
you can be married to somebody 20 years.
Still don't
And
know.
here comes the detective knocking on the door saying they're a serial killer, and you're like, what? That's my husband? Yes, your husband. He would never. Yes, he will. Yes, she will. Oh, she killed him. Yes, she did. These are things that they're human, and we are the flesh. And a lot of times we forget that, and we put expectations on people. And we can never put expectations on people because we are letting ourselves down every time.
Mm-hmm.
People will change for who they want to change for. Oh, you want to have you'd like to be married before you have kids? Yes, I would. You would like a house before we have kids? Yes, I would. You want to be halfway through school? Yeah, whatever that looks like for us to be able to survive, or I don't want to be laying up over your mom's house, whatever that looks like. And then as we are growing together, maybe we're pregnant, okay, or whatever that might look like. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we understand we're not changing anybody, we're not putting expectations on them, because they want to be in a relationship with us. They know our triggers. They know what we don't like.
Right.
They know what we're trying to accept, and they are going to change for us.
Right.
Miss Kelly, was there anything that you would do differently relating to co-parenting at this point?
From the beginning,
Anytime throughout?
I'm gonna say,
Go ahead.
I might say, stuff I say. You got these kids here, and you know what they need, and
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like, I won't say these are just bad people. I
Right.
won't say they horrible individuals. We don't argue. We don't. They never call me out my name. Like that. We really don't talk bad to each other. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if it were to come to a point where we could sit down and have a conversation, about having a healthy co-parenting relationship, you know, I feel like maybe we could, but I don't feel like a party
Mm-hmm.
is mature enough yet to
Mhm.
do that. Because, you know, I don't feel like they've grown enough, not like adult enough, but have grown enough in life to be able to do that. They might want it bad, you know, they might want to, you know, be a better father to the kids. And you can say, well, if you want to be a better father, you can, but this is real life. You know what I'm saying? So I try to give as much grace as I can, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Nigga, only so much you give, you know what I'm saying? And I try to do it without, you know, making you look bad or making you feel bad about the situation. But you know what I'm saying? I could say, you know, I hear people say all the time, you should have chose better father for your kids. We was kids, you know what I mean? No. People say he was immature in the head. Like we weren't thinking about get married before you could say that, but it's real life. You know what I'm saying? When I had kids, it was just me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't have a mother. My father was in prison. Both, when my brother was doing life in prison, it was just me. Before I had kids, I didn't have nobody. My first child was my first family, my first immediate family that I had out here in the real world. So I'm not thinking like, oh, I don't want a child, I want to have an abortion, or this ain't what I want. I wanted my baby. You know what I'm saying? That was my baby. That was my family. That was the love of my life. You know what I'm saying? So all this, you should have chosen. I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about my baby. I was thinking about my. So it's not linear. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's different. Everybody don't go through the same stuff. Everybody don't have the same, you know, mindset. Right. Like when back then I wasn't thinking about choosing a better father. He was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't even know what it took to be a good father. Because he didn't even have his father himself. And that's another reason why I gave him so much grace. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why I let him slide so much. Because I knew, you know, he didn't have that. But it got to a point where, okay, you know, I'm dead before I even became a mother, so I had to figure this out myself. I didn't have nobody teaching me how to be a mother. I had to do this was trial and error for me. You know, you had your mama, you know, you had stepdaddy, you had people that could, you know, pour into you and show you how to do this. I had to learn this on my own. So going back and having to do it again, to say that I would change anything, I love my kids, man. And honestly, they're some of the best kids in the world. Honestly. And going through what they done been through, dealing with some of the stuff that they done dealt with, creates great character in them. Not just in them, but in their mama as well. So I don't feel like I would change a thing. Because even though, you know, he ain't who I want him to be, he'll never be who I want him to be.
Right.
He's still who he is to them. He's still part of them. You know what I'm saying? And I love him for that. You know what I'm saying? I could never hate him for that. So as far as, would I change anything when it comes to co-parenting? Of course, I would want a better co-parenting situation, but no, I wouldn't choose a different person. I wouldn't, because I love my kids, man. Every part of it. Every part of it.
I appreciate that answer, and I finally see you relax and actually giving that answer. But
I be mad.
but that's an honest answer to give,
Yeah.
and it came from somewhere that I had to ask that question.
Yeah.
So, and
I just try to be as transparent as I possibly can, because I know a lot of people, they can, you could put up a facade only for so long.
correct.
Like I tell my kids all the time, it's my favorite thing to tell. Long as you walking around playing a character, playing a role, you're gonna have to keep on playing that role.
What you say?
And then when you not playing a role, you walk around being your authentic self, you ain't got to worry about breaking character. Because you're gonna always be your true authentic self.
Yep.
Ain't nobody tell me, she ain't the real her. I'm me yesterday, today, tomorrow. When you think I'm not, even when you feel like, well, she don't know I'm watching. I don't care if you watching. I'm still me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I could never break character because I'm authentically myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna always be.
Yep.
Who I really
Be
am.
yourself, because everybody else is taken.
Ah,
You never be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
I appreciate that. So, Miss Nicole, hearing her speak on that, where even not necessarily changing anything of her past relating to the co-parenting, but where she said, I feel like that person is not there yet for us to have those deep conversations. As a counselor, and if say she was your client, what would you say as far as advice or a way to navigate in that area?
We don't give advice.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
We never give advice, but I heard her say a lot of things, and I commend her for the things that she said.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ready to have that conversation. But remember, you cannot worry. They might not ever be ready.
Yep.
You are sick on your bed, getting ready to take your last breath. They still ain't ready. You might have to bring them there, and that's okay. Sometimes it takes the other person to bring us to where we need to be, lifting them up. And I know you probably in your mind, I've been lifting them up 15 years. I got 15 years. I got a 15-year-old. I'm not lifting them up, but at the same time, it's not for you. It's for the kid. It's for the kid. And another thing you said was, I know they see me out here doing this, doing that. I'm not understanding why they can't do it. Understand that they might not know how to do it.
That's true.
A lot of times, we don't know how to be moms.
Yep.
We're learning, we're going off the fly.
Yep.
And we don't know how to be dads. And well, it's a father. Because there's a difference between dad and father.
Right.
We don't know how to do that. And we're
Right.
not going to come and say, Kelly, we don't have this baby. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. Don't know what you want me to do. Don't know what I need to do. I guess I need to get a job, I guess. But it's a whole lot more than getting a job. It's a whole lot more. We got snotty noses. We got sick days. We got A's and B's. F's and D's. We got football.
Yep.
We got soccer. You want to do band. We
Yep.
got all kinds of things. And although money plays a big factor of it, I need you to be there. I
Right.
need you to be the person that they can pick up the phone and say, Daddy, Mama is in there talking about cleaning the dishes. She is getting on my nerves. That kid needs to be able to vent to somebody else. Not grandparent, not auntie, not uncle, but if that's all they have, that's what they're going to do. But she was so honest and transparent by saying, I commend him for where he is.
Yep.
He's not ready to have these conversations. I can't make him be a dad. I love him because he's a dad, and I'm going to appreciate that. But we have to sometimes bring people where they need to be. Always communicate. I heard you say that earlier. I just assume and I do it. We as African American women of color, we put on capes and we think that we can fly, and we can because we do this thing every day.
Yeah.
We get up and we carry a lot of people's weight.
Yeah.
We carry the baby daddy's weight, husband wait, grandma wait, cause she calling, the kids wait.
Yeah.
Our clients come in and talk to us, and you're like, man, I wonder whatever happened, or this kid couldn't afford a cut, or whatever. You're carrying so many other things. Take some of that weight off of you by communicating. Hey, back to school is coming in 2 weeks. I was just wondering, was you gonna have $150? He's gonna say, I don't know what she takes me for. I got $150, and that's fine. And that's fine. But you gave it to them.
The opportunity.
Never give them the opportunity to say you didn't ask. Because if I got that scapegoat, I'm gonna use it every time. What you mean back to school came? I didn't know. I don't care if I got a kid in the house with me. I'm gonna use back to school. I didn't even know back to school was coming. I didn't know you needed nothing. You didn't call me. Did you call me, Raven? Did you call me? Did you call me? You know, I'm gonna say that, and you're gonna be like, you knew school was starting, but did you call me? And if you never sent a text, never sent a call, don't give them the easy way out. They go for moms and dads. Don't give them the easy way out, because no communication, I assume you got it.
That's
That's
true.
it. I assume you got it. You heard anything from? Nope. Oh, okay then. Life goes on. Because they got a house that they're dealing with too. They stay somewhere with somebody. They doing
Right,
something.
right.
So I get this. But at the same time, these kids need lights. These kids need water. These kids need food. I don't know how you think I'm over here doing it, but hey,
Right,
I'm letting you know that I need a little something every now and then.
right.
And if they do it, they don't. But you know, it's I put it out there. I gave it to you.
Wow. Good. That's good.
Very good.
So going to the last thing, is forgiveness necessary in order to be a good co-parent?
Yes. Yes.
Forgiveness, is it necessary to be
You have to.
okay? Go ahead, I'm gonna let you take it then. What
You have to.
give me your reasoning as to why you feel that.
Because when you don't forgive people, you walk around harboring all these emotions, whatever they be. But whatever emotion you harbor, it's going to come out. You either going to act them out, you cry them out, it's going to come out some type of way. And who wants to be that person? This is for me. I'm speaking for me.
Okay.
And once I realized all that anger, resentment, all that unforgiveness was like causing me to be this person towards him, because I'm a good person, but be that person, that bad negative person towards, my child's father. I was like, you are not any better than him. You know better than him. Like you said, like Nicole said, let them be them. You be you. I'm not gonna let the situation. I should not let the situation change me first. So I started saying, you know what? And then maybe by me showing some type of calmness, maturity, it would help. And it really did help at times. Hey, how you doing? Because at first when we was communicating, I didn't get it fine. I just want to, talk to him. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Even though I feel like you didn't say it sometimes, happy Father's Day. Because you the father. DNA test proof that we had DNA test. I'm real. I don't do sugarcoat. I'm real. But just what you get. The DNA test proves you the father. You the father, happy Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? Like just do it because it is the right thing. So yes, you have to forgive. Now, do you just let people mistreat you and continue to talk to you disrespectfully and all that? No, you do not. Set the boundaries. Okay? Look, like she said, I'm not doing this today. And even one time he said that to me, I don't want to argue with you. And I was like, you know what, you're right. We said this one time, so I was like, you know what, you're right. So yes, forgiveness is a very important piece. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say those who anger you control you. We women, we are some vindictive little creatures. And we know how to trigger people, especially people we've been in a relationship with. My job is to get up and make you miserable. Let me see, I have a bad day. I want you to be miserable today. And that is the truth. That's what we do. You know what? Today is quiet. Let me text them. Let me make them mad. And I know how you respond is going to make you mad. I know if I do little simple things, it's going to make you mad. She needs blah, blah, blah. I could have bought the school supplies, but you going to buy, just because. And a lot of times we forget that those who anger us control us. Forgiveness is only for you. You have to forgive because we are way, like she said, you're carrying all these emotions, all of them. And we wake up and we're like, anybody can get it today. I am mad at my boss, but guess what? I'm going to project that on you. The moment you ask me, did I drink the last cup of coffee? You don't know how to fix coffee yourself. However that looks. If it's to the kids, if it's to you. So in order to move forward with a healthy relationship, forgiveness is always going to because we have kids, we need to be able to communicate healthy in front of those children. And like she said, a lot of times it's like, hey, how you set the tone. Set the tone for how you want this conversation to go. A lot of times I pick up the phone, I'm like, what are you doing? I call you, I text you, you didn't answer. Okay, so let me tell you about, and nothing makes me madder than him saying, well, how you doing today, Nicole? Oh, I had to take 10 steps back. I'm like, I'm fine. How about you? And then the call, and he just brings me in there. And our son he'll be 17 December 1st. But for 17 years, when he pick up that phone, I am like this. I am ready to tell him everything is going on in my life and it's chaos. And he's like, well, hey, how you doing? Good morning. I'm like, good morning. And then I'm still ready to get back to it. He's like, how you doing today? Are you at work? Yeah, he brings it all the way back. And that's something men can do in women because they like, look at her. She's bouncing like a tennis ball, but men can bring it all the way back down. And we're not in a relationship. Haven't been 17 years, but we have our son. And hey, I mean, my husband is my partner, but at the same time, my son's father, both of them, we have great relationships. They have relationships with my husband. We're all social media friends. They go out to eat without me. I mean, well, they're talking about it probably selling, but at the same time, we all have great relationships. That's important for our kids to see us interacting.
All right. It's necessary.
It's necessary. Forgiveness is necessary. Not even just for them, but for you. You gotta forgive.
Yep.
For your own peace of mind. A lot of time. And
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it, you all. I
Yeah.
appreciate you all.
Yeah.
So, going to the next part of the segment. So, we're going to go to what we call the new segment, the hotline segment.
Oh, wow.
So, we're going to open up the line to someone who chooses to call and talk to us. So, the number here that you will call is 706 883 5670. Again, the phone number is 706-883-5670. We'll see if we have a lucky person to want to call into us. So let's see what's going to happen. But yeah, let's see. All right, well, we don't have a caller today, but we threw it out there, but next time we will make sure that we get a caller in for the next time. So if they call before we leave, then hey, we'll answer that question. So we also added something else into the segment where we are going to have sponsors. Okay. So we have a sponsor, and our first sponsor today is going to be with Tranquil Escape Spa.
Oh, wow.
Yes, at 311 South Lewis Street, LaGrange, Georgia. And you'll see the information online for you to actually contact that person. Okay. So not only are they a sponsor, but they'll be offering a complimentary gift certificate. So those who have already voted on the last poll from this past week will be entered in for the drawing for this prize. Okay. So what they will do in this situation, give me 1 second, is that they'll actually receive the complimentary gift. But let me go ahead and just show them what that prize is. And on the screen, you will see that they will win a 60-minute Tranquil Escape facial. Nice. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. So I want to first again say thank you to Tranquil Escape Spa for what they have provided to us and being a sponsor with Epic Waves. So yes, so if you want to be a sponsor here at the Epic Waves podcast, just Also, please reach out and contact me for that information. So
Okay.
what I'll do is you'll be on the sponsor page that will be added to,
Okay.
and you will receive the advertisement to us, as well as we'll be saying thank you directly online here on the podcast. So again, thank you again for being here at the podcast of Epic Ways. This was awesome. This was awesome and well
amazing.
needed. So I want to say thank you to Miss Kelly, to Miss Nicole, and
Yes.
to Miss Raven, as well as to my technical team on the background. So
Okay.
I want to thank you all. And again, if you have not liked and subscribed podcasts of Epic Ways, please do so. Until next time, you take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. We're out.